The day the reckoning is here as Barcelona take on Paris Saint-Germain, as former manager brings his team along with Kylian Mbappe to the home of Barcelona in the second leg of the UEFA Champions League quarterfinals. Truly a great game to watch tonight, and today we're going to look at really strong deciding factors and tactics that might decide this tie for Barcelona. Subscribe as always, guys. Let's dive right into this analysis. Since you guys are so very sensitive about lineups, I'm just going to leave this one to you. This is just a canvas that I'm using. No particular lineup that I wanted to choose because, like I said, you guys are so sensitive when it comes to this, right? But I think straight from the build-up phase, I think this is going to be seriously important. And honestly, I don't see how PSG will be troubling us because of Mbappe, right? You obviously know he's going to defend right here, and we might see Dembele again out there. But the back three, I think PSG might be committing 3 men forward in this instance right here. Just go man to man. But like I said, with the Stegen's really how can I say, ball playing ability, you might see a double pivot of Gundogan. And I think actually Pedri is the one that's going to play deeper in this case. This double pivot then can easily just receive the ball, which ultimately will allow these two guys to come up. And with the ability of Ter Stegen, I think this is really going to be suicide. So you might see Dembele is going to stay in his position, and you're going to see a front two. And then you're still going to see Koundé might not be effective, but then we can just get the ball to Joao Cancelo. So this triangle for me in the build-up phase is going to be very important, with Pedri. But the build-up phase is going to be pretty easy. I don't see how PSG will trouble us, and it's going to be interesting to see how Luis Enrique is going to fight this, right? Because especially, like I said, because of the long kicking of Ter Stegen, this is really suicide. If they press with a 2, they might be able to control it, but if they go with a front 3, it's going to be even more. So you might see them sitting onto Barcelona's pivot and actually defend in a 4-4-2 situation, which is ultimately just going to be even some more suicide for them, because then our centre backs will be free. So like I said, I don't see how PSG will trouble Barcelona in the build-up phase with the long kicking, and also because of the positioning of Koundé and Joao Cancelo ultimately. Now, if you watch the previous video that I uploaded of the Cardiff tactical analysis, you will completely understand what I'm about to say right now. Xavi already tried to prepare for this game against PSG because of course, Mbappe is going to defend in the middle right here, right? And then Bele is going to be down deep here for Jules Koundé, of course, right? But here's the deal. Cancelo's obviously going to come forward in this early back three that Xavi has, and then you're going to see maybe Pedri and Frenkie de Jong and a very, very early back three. Now, the numerical advantage is already there because Barcola is going to join Kylian Mbappe, right? Because Luis Enrique struggled badly with Kylian Mbappe in the first leg in terms of defending. Now, in this case, if Dembele is deep, you're already going to have Jules Koundé in space there. So with the early back three, you will automatically have Jules Koundé in position, right? And he can't afford to be, Mbappe can't afford to be on Koundé, right? Because then that's going to open up the gates here. So he's probably going to stay here. And this back three is going to probably draw Dembele out, right? To be able to put pressure on Jules Koundé. But here's the deal, guys. This early back three is basically there to free up our double pivot. Now, that's going to mean that the midfielders of PSG is going to have to come in here, which is going to completely open up this left or right flank for Barcelona, right? And like I said, again, there's a lot of emphasis on Ter Stegen's kicking ability into that position right there, and the fact that he can find these players, right? So this is going to put Dembele in a position. Do I cover the space here and leave Koundé open, which is obviously going to have Koundé have a great game in this case because you saw what happened in the first half? Or do I cover here and leave a gap further up the pitch? So this early back three, Xavi tried to put it together so that no matter what PSG do, Barcelona is going to have an advantage, right? And Pedri can even come wide because Ruiz cannot follow him, because then that's going to open the space right here. So Xavi is really trying to poke holes into this PSG team. I'm very excited. I know the abilities that PSG have, right? But our manager has tactics in place. And I think if this is well executed, we can completely rip PSG apart. So the early back three can play a big role in this PSG game. Now, we all know the impact of Rafinha on this left side, and I really think that Rafinha should be starting on that left wing position, right? But this early back three is also going to help Lamine Yamal's case, because I'm a big believer that this kid can be instrumental and it can affect the involvement of Mendes on that wing, because Lamine can push him back, right? And that's going to help Koundé's case even more, because you're going to have Mbappe when on the left wing if PSG attacks, right? But this early back three can help a lot, because look at this. Kubarsi can easily come out here and Ter Stegen can find him. Like I said, Ter Stegen's kicking is going to be instrumental, right? And then you're going to have this diamond on the left side. Now, you can also have Lewandowski coming over, and that is basically going to draw the whole of PSG to one side, right? You can even have Gundogan going up, and then, of course, this left side of Barcelona, the right side of PSG, is going to be overloaded, right? And then you can have Frenkie de Jong and Pedri get involved, and we can use this overload to isolate situation. I would even put my money on Koundé coming in this position right here, so that when the switch happen, you have Lamine one-on-one with Mendes. And guys, like I said, this kid needs to get involved. It's going to be important for him to push Mendes back to help Koundé's case, because you saw what happened in the first leg when you had Mbappe over there with him, and when Dembele was dropping from the false nine position, and then you had Mendes. So they tried to create a triangle, and I think they're going to try that yet again. So we need to work that out, because Lamine needs to get involved. He's going to be important, and I think the overload to isolate is going to help that, especially the fact that we're going to have an early back three. So Lamine needs to get involved. In defense, another tactic that will be instrumental. We of course know PSG come out with a normal 4-3-3 situation, right? And then Dembele coming in as a false nine from the center right here. But here's the deal. I wouldn't defend in a 4-4-2 situation like Xavi did, because PSG was just woeful, right? They were carving us in half when we were defending. And I think the 4-4-2, that's the reason they had an overload in midfield. So we don't need to come out and really attack this game. We can play on the transition. That's why I think Lewandowski should sit on their pivot, and then Barcelona should defend in a 4-5-1 situation. We can even come a little bit out, in a mid block, so that we can have three defenders centrally, or midfielders centrally, and then you have the situation right here. So it doesn't matter where Dembele really drops, there's going to be a guy blocking the passing lane from here. If he drops this side, there's going to be a guy blocking the passing lane over here. So if Dembele really wants to get involved, he's going to have to come out all the way here. So I think the 4-5-1 situation is the way to go. And at the same time, you're going to have, if Lamine is of course disciplined, like Rafinha would definitely be, then we have really four players here on the wing to be able to defend their wing play, because they don't come through the center like we saw. They mainly played towards the wings. And I think the 4-5-1 is going to be a pivotal tactic. And our defensive shape is going to be a determining factor. But like I said, I don't think Xavi should really be defending in that 4-4-2 like he did. It's going to cause a lot of discipline. It's going to, like you saw, it really dampened our attacking play. And it had a heavy impact against Barcelona's attacking play. And with this, you can be transitioning really well as well. If we do a turnover, of course, then we can just easily go forward. But like I said, the 4-5-1 is my bet. I would love to know what you guys think. What shape should Xavi be playing in? My suggestion is a 4-5-1 in the mid block with Robert Lewandowski, of course, sitting on the deep lying player, because we know PSG come out in a normal 4-4-2 shape when they have the ball. Like I said, guys, these are the tactics that I think that will be key in the Barcelona PSG game tonight. I would love to hear what you guys think. The lineups, I'm not going to pick a lineup because, like I said, you guys really got sensitive with me when I wasn't putting Kunde in the last predicted lineup that I wanted to have. But yeah, let me know, what do you think about the lineup? What do you think? What key tactics will also be playing a pivotal role? But as always, do subscribe to the channel. It's going to help us a lot to get the family to grow even bigger. We upload weekly Barcelona content. Thank you very much for watching.